everybody, today I'm going to show you an art project using light, and then we're going to talk a little bit about why it works. All the supplies that you're going to need for this project are a pair of scissors. If you have trouble cutting things out, you can get a grown-up to help you. Any scrap paper, you can even use the newspaper or an old magazine. Then you're going to need some tape, and you're going to need a piece of brightly colored paper. I'm using this one today, but you can use any color you want. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and your scrap paper and you're going to cut out some shapes. I've already done this and I've cut out some triangles and some little rectangles, and I've also done a couple of circles. Now you're going to take your paper and carefully you're going to tape these shapes onto your paper in whatever way you want. Later, when our project's done, the only thing that you're going to be able to see is where the paper shapes were. So you can use them to make either a picture or an abstract design. When you tape them, make sure that the tape doesn't go out from the sides of the shape, because otherwise you'll see that in your final picture. Alright, now I've finished my design, so I've got all my shapes taped on here. Now what you have to do is find a window that gets a lot of sun, and you're going to tape this picture up to the window so that this side is facing out. So all you're going to be able to see is this blank side, but the sun will see this side, and that's how this project works. Then, once you've taped it there, you're going to leave it on your window for 2 weeks. Don't touch it or peek, because otherwise it won't be up for long enough. After it's been up for 2 weeks, you can carefully take it down from the window, careful not to rip it, and you can take these shapes off. And once you're done, you're going to see the design left over. Everything that the sun touched, so all of the background, is going to go a light gray color. It's going to fade in the sun. And the parts that you've covered are going to stay the bright color. To show you what it's looked like, here's one that I did a couple of weeks ago, and I've just took it off my window this morning. So this paper was bright red, and now you can see it's faded to this almost grayish brown color. The only parts that stayed bright red were the parts where I had the paper shapes on it. So after I took it down, I decided to outline them so that you could really see the shapes really clearly, and I've added some extra designs. So I had a flower and some leaves, and I drew in a stem so that it would look like a proper flower. You can also decorate this however else you'd like. You can put other colors and shapes on it. You can even use stickers or glitter or any other art supplies you might have at home. Make it totally your own, and feel free to either do a design like I did with this one, or an abstract design like I did with this one. Now, why does this work, and how does the sun make the paper fade? Well, light travels in what's called waves. So light moves in a shape like this. You can't see it because they're very, very small. So to you, it just looks like a whole big ray of light. But in fact, it's moving up and down like a wave. So there's different kinds of light because there's different kinds of waves. Some waves move up and down really, really fast, like this. That way, the distance between the two waves is very small, and that's called the wavelength. Other types of waves move up and down very slowly, like this, and so the wavelength between one wave and the next wave is much bigger. Depending on how big the wavelength is, that says what kind of light it is. Now, there's so many different kinds of waves with so many different wavelengths. In fact, most waves humans can't even see. Some of them are radio waves, some of them are microwaves, some of them are radioactive waves. The only ones that we can see are called visible light, and there's all kinds of different colors of visible light. Now, if you look at the light from the sun, it doesn't look like it has a color. It just looks like it's white light. And that's because if you mix all of the other colors of light together, it looks white. So anytime you're seeing white light, what you're actually seeing is all of the different colors of the rainbow combined. Now, each color of light is a different wavelength, and the kind of light that this experiment uses is called ultraviolet light, or UV. It shows up as purple, but you don't see it as purple because it's mixed with all of the other colors, so it just looks white. Now, UV light has a very short wavelength. It's the shortest wavelength out of all of the colors. The longest wavelength is red light, and it's called infrared light. Now, the UV light shines on the paper, and it actually damages the paper. What it does is it damages the dye that's in the paper, and it makes it break apart. That way, it goes away, and all that's left is that grayish color that's the natural paper. It starts to fade the real color. Just like UV light can damage the paper, it can also damage your eyes and your skin. That's why you have to wear sunglasses and a hat and sunscreen when you go outside in the sun. It's also why your parents probably tell you not to go out in the sun for too long, right? If you're in the sun for too long, it's that UV light that can hurt your skin and give you a sunburn or even make you feel sick. So on our pictures, the parts of the picture that are covered by this white paper won't get touched by the UV light, right? They're hidden. So they won't get damaged. That's why they stay the right color. I hope you really enjoyed this craft and that you learned something about light today. Now you can make a picture using UV light. And remember, if you're outside when it's sunny, make sure you protect your skin and your eyes from the sun. Bye!